I was absolutely devastated. I probably cried for like 10 days, on and off, because you have this, I can't believe this is happening to me. I remember my hearing went hot, like my ears got hot when the doctors had actually told, me and my husband that the tumor was cancerous. So it was devastating. It's definitely the worst news to me that somebody can tell you. It's great. It's great. I mean, I've always been very spiritually grounded, but it's definitely it definitely tests your faith because you want to think the worst and you want to assume the worst. But I just really put my faith in God and just stay prayerful and wouldn't let it really alter my willpower and my, just my attitude. I just was, I knew what the chances were. My doctors told me, with the surgery that, the hospital that I had it in, Sloan Kettering, that it was, that what the surgery that I had is called microvascular reconstructive surgery. So when the doctors told me that they pretty much have a 98%, survival rate with this particular surgery, it was like, I just felt like, God put me in the right hands with the right doctors at the right time in my life. And, and I just had a great support system with my family and my friends, and everybody just, nobody was negative. Nobody thought negative. So that's a good thing, because you can't have people that's, boo-hooing along with you and, oh, and I'm so sorry for you. And this, I didn't get any of that. I got from my family and my friends, girl, you're going to be fine. You'll be walking in 2.5 years. And, and that's what happened. And I praise God every day. Well, Sweet Touch of Hope, when I started to design the jewelry line, I always wanted to design a lollipop earring. It was supposed to be an earring at first with a lollipop. I didn't know if it was going to move back and forth, if it was going to be, stationary or whatever. And but with my surgery, there used to be a lollipop on my left leg. So with the microvascular reconstructive surgery, they had to reconstruct my right leg where the tumor was in. So they removed the whole tibia bone out of my right leg. They went into my left leg to take the fibula bone out. During the process of taking the fibula bone out, I had a lollipop tattoo that said candy underneath it. Many years back, my husband did a record with Candy Girl, kind of like a remake with New Edition. It was called Candy Girl, and he dedicated the song to me. So I remember when during the surgery, Dr. Cordero asked me, he was like, I may have to, mess up your lollipop. And I was like, you can't mess up my lollipop. I said, you can't do that. He was like, Simone, would you rather have your leg, or would you rather walk, or would you rather have it? I was like, do what you have to do. So 3 or 4 days later, after the surgery, when Dr. Cordero comes in, he's like, well, half of your lollipop's on the front of your right leg. So that's how the whole lollipop was inspired, because it was a whole part of my journey and my recovery from being a cancer survivor, learning how to walk again, and all of that good stuff. So when the opportunity came, I have a great team around me, and there's the young man who helps bring my vision to life. His name is JL. I told JL, I said, we got to do a Charms lollipop. I wanted to be on an earring. But then when JL created it, he actually created it on a chain. And once I saw the chain, we were just blown away. And then we just kind of said, and then it was, I don't remember what it was actually made out of at first, but then I know afterwards I was like, you know what, I want these lollipops to have crystals on them. So it started off as a purple lollipop, because purple is my favorite color. And then my manager, Claudine, she reached out to the American Cancer Society, reached out to Angela Haynes, And her and Angela, she spoke with Angela, briefly told her my story. And Angela was like, I would love to meet with you and Simone. First, we set up a phone call with her, told her my story. And then once Angela and her team saw the lollipops, everybody just fell in love with it. And that's how the lollipop came about. The first lollipop created was purple because the lollipop that used to be on my leg was purple, and purple is my favorite color. Once we teamed up with the American Cancer Society and morebirthdays.com, we decided to do the lollipops in all the colors of the birthday months. This lollipop is called Sweet Touch of Hope, and when you purchase this lollipop, 10% of the proceeds goes towards the American Cancer Society. I first got in touch with the American Cancer Society when my manager Claudine reached out to Angela Hayes and shared my story with her, told her that I had created a piece of jewelry that I wanted to give, and I wanted proceeds to go towards the American Cancer Society. And Angela Hayes and her team showed a lot of interest, and once they saw the lollipop and heard my story, and they were very happy that I wanted to do something to give back. The American Cancer Society's More Birthdays campaign, I think, is absolutely incredible. When you are diagnosed with cancer, during your recovery period, you go through seeing your doctors every 3 months, then you graduate to every 6 months, then you graduate to once a year. Once you get to 5 years, that's when you start seeing your doctor once a year. In 10 years, if your test results are good for 10 years, then they tell you that you're cancer free. So, September 1st of 2014, I'm waiting for my doctors to give me my cancer-free diagnosis, and then when that time comes, I will be wearing aquamarine lollipop and a blue topaz lollipop, because September 1st of 2014 will be my new birthday. I think having the American Cancer Society just team up with me and embracing Sweet Touch of Hope, I just think is absolutely awesome. I'm so thankful. I thank God for them. And I just think it's incredible. I think it's awesome. I celebrate life. I celebrate my life every day that I wake up and I can walk. So I really don't celebrate birthdays differently. I celebrate life. I'm so honored and so blessed to have the opportunity to team up with the American Cancer Society for a Sweet Touch of Hope, because I am a cancer survivor. I'm a 7-year cancer survivor. You can view Sweet Touch of Hope on SimoneISmith.com and morebirthdays.com. Hi, I'm Simone I. Smith, and I created a Sweet Touch of Hope in order to build a world with less cancer and more birthdays. Join me in the movement for less cancer and more birthdays at morebirthdays.com. Join over 200,000 supporters on Facebook at facebook.com/create more birthdays. This past Sunday was National Cancer Survivors Day. So in honor of 11 million more birthdays being celebrated each year, let's all post the name of a survivor in our lives on the More Birthdays Facebook wall. I'm Simone I. Smith, and that's a wrap.